Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. I want to make a fast video, a fast general video about what to do week 2 when the raid is coming out of patch 11.1. Like week 1, there's some things opening up, most of the patch is opening up week 2, and I want to hit on this today so you guys aren't behind or missing things heading into the actual raid and relevant gearing parts of the patch. Now, the first thing I would do when I log in week 2 of the patch when the raid opens is walk right over here in Dorangal and get your quest. This should be for a pinnacle cache. It should be spreading the light, waking the machine, and whatever the other one is. I'm going to forget it if I don't do it. I'm going to log out right here and come and grab these. There should be some other ones here as well that also award pinnacle caches. This week is Titan Disc Fragments, some Rogue quests here, and there's also going to be your weekly dungeon quest right here, which gives Renown with all of the current Renown factions and the new one in Undermine. Now, speaking of Renown, a bit of a trick here. Darkmoon Fair is opening on Sunday. If it's past Sunday, you're watching this video, hey, it's open. Awesome. Go grab the rep buff if you're going to grind Undermine and rep a bunch. There is some boots at level 7 you can get, I believe, that are better in track, not incredibly impactful. The end of the actual Renown line here does indeed give you a heroic crafting crest, which is interesting. Round 20 is going to be a bit of a slog, and I don't think worth min-maxing at this point, but there is a trick you can do with other Renowns. If you did not claim your Valor Stone and or Crest rewards from Council of Dorangal, Assembly of the Deeps, or Hellafall, in patch 11.0, those rewards are still on the vendors, and even right now, before the raid comes out, week 1 of patch 11.1, they are rewarding Season 2 Crest, and they're giving you Valor Stones you can go and get and put towards your current total for this season. Now, hopefully you're close to being capped on Valor Stones, but at the same time, if you're not, honestly, M+ and other activities like the weekly ones here, Theater Troop, Spreading the Light, Waking the Machine, should give you a good bit of lower to mid-tier Crest and Valor Stones pretty quickly, so it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. But I would grab these, don't forget, and work towards your Spark early on, because you're going to want to use that at some point, probably this week. Now, number 2 is going to be actually using your Spark. Well, getting your Spark, and then I should say not using your Spark, as long as you can. There's a quest right here at the Catalyst. You can grab it now, week 1 of 11.1, and it requires you turning in half of a Spark to get a full Spark. Sort of like a catch-up for not getting a half Spark this week in a sense. This will give you a full Spark for week 1 of the raid, week 2 of the patch coming out. Keep in mind, it takes 250 Valor Stones to make the Spark, and I would encourage you, at least from like my perspective and things, to not use your Spark the moment you get it. Gearing this week from the raid, if you run normal or heroic or even getting into Mythic, M+, delves, they're all giving relatively high rewards at like a mid-tier difficulty level. There's a large eye level jump this tier, and while there are recommended best embellishments this tier for everyone's class and spec, I would wait to see what you loot from the raid. For example, if I say, hey, I get my Spark on Tuesday, let's take my heroic crafting crest that we're going to talk about in a minute here from Gallywix, and let's make a pair of boots with an embellishment on them. And then I walk into the raid after killing Gallywix on normal and pull a heroic pair, and I have a crafted pair that I want to use, but I have a better pair from heroic. It's going to feel pretty bad. I would encourage you to not use your Spark for crafting until you absolutely need to. If your guild's doing Mythic week 1, save it until Mythic. Save it until end of Heroic if Gallywix is tough. Save it until you need to use it, until you farm gear. If you don't want to do that and want to rip it, go for it. That's okay too, but keep in mind, you might sort of hurt yourself by making an item early that you don't really need, depending what you require from M+, raid, so on and so forth. At the same time, it is worth pointing out really quickly here that the Crests have been indeed brought down. Like pricing-wise this patch, you can buy a Weathered Crest here for 30 of these, which gives you a 629 item, which you can farm pretty easily. I have 90s already for like lower alt gearing. But you can also buy a Rune Crest, which gives you up to 658 eye level, which is pretty big. That's heroic, or 675 a Mythic here, which is 60 gilded, and 45 for the heroic one. Now, the question also when it comes to crests and things this tier is, how are they going to work for the heroic, runed, and gilded crest next week? Thinking back to 11.0, we had weathered and carved week 1 of the expansion launching, which had a seasonal max of 90 being week 1. And when week 2 came out, they went up to 180, then 270 and 360 for week 3 and 4 accordingly. When the heroic and mythic crest came out in 11.0, week 2 was the first week you could acquire those, and they also had a season max of 180. So we're not sure if you're going to be able to acquire 90 heroic crest and 90 mythic ones, or 180 on Tuesday. I'm assuming it's going to be 180, which is going to give you a decent bit of leeway when it comes to like maybe crafting an item, maybe even a mythic item if you're just looking to not make a weapon early on, because once again, mythic crafting only takes 60 crest this time to get a gilded option. Now, once again, I'd wait as long as possible, and also it will dictate the number of crests you can get from Heroic and Mythic, whether it's 90 or 180. When the cap increases this coming week, will dictate how relevant it is, or how, if you're able to really buy something here or not, versus upgrading actual gear from the raid. So keep that in mind, but I would not use your Spark until you actually have to, but I would get it, I guess you can get it, pretty early on. And also, if you get it early and you're capped on Crest or Valor Stones, build the Spark. It takes 250, and lower your Valor Stone cap again. Don't sit at Valor Stone cap if you can avoid it. Number 3 here is going to be gearing, but also a bit of a trick for your Keystone in M+. Now, you can log in and go to the Keystone vendor, which I think is by the portals that were around in Season 1, and say, hey, yo, give me a Keystone. Off the bat, I would wait and not do that. If you can just like maybe get into like a 6 or 7 or pug into 1, maybe it's a guild group, I don't know. I'm a Warlock, pugging the easiest for me, but if you can pug into a higher key, complete that key and open the chest at the end, I believe you open a key of that same level if you time it, and I think a key lower if you don't. You're not going to start with a 2 or a 3 or whatever you get from the vendor if you complete a 7 or 8 as your first key, if you don't obtain a key from the vendor. So like I said, I would encourage you, if you're not looking to just get a key off the bat and push it as high as possible, if you're logging in more later on in the afternoon or the evening, or like me, I'm working the race this time, won't be able to log in until the afternoon, just try and plug in like a 6, 7, and 8 as high as you can, honestly, or find a guild group that's pushed the key a bit, hop in, complete the key, then loot a 6 or 7 or an 8 and make life a little easier. Now, at the same time, we've talked about this a little bit. Gearing in Season 2 is becoming a good bit easier. As far as like drops for Crest and things are concerned, Rune Crest began dropping very early. Gilded Crest began dropping at 7. Right? Gilded Crest, keep in mind, Gilded Crest, Rune and Gilded are Heroic and Mythic, right? We can check the vendor again, right there. Gilded is Mythic, Runed is Heroic. So like these crests begin dropping at a very low Keystone level, which is good. And you can farm a lot of these. And the higher you go, I believe completing a 5 and a 6, I mean, the higher you go, like a 3 gives more rune than a 2, as long as you complete it. A 4 more than a 3, so on and so forth. The same for Gilded Crest in M+. At the same time, item level from 6s in M+ gives hero gear. It's 1 out of 6. The higher you go here, all the way to 12, gives hero 3 out of 6. And it looks like the optimal key level to farm, if you're looking for like, I mean, Rune Crest is going to be, I mean, 6 probably because you get the most at the end. If you're looking to farm like max hero crest, like, heroic crest, like Rune Crest, whatever, and, you know, getting into hero gear, +6 is where it starts, basically. Max Rune Crest and initial hero gear in the end of dungeon loot. But if you're looking to like maximize your vault, you're obviously going to want to run 10s and higher. I mean, 10 is like the easiest one, but it gets you 62, which you want to be myth 1 out of 6. So if you're looking to prioritize a handful of myth slots in your vault, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, look to run 10s. Like I mentioned here as well, 9s and 8s and 9s give 652, which is going to be hero 2 out of 6. 10 and above is going to be hero 3 out of 6. So I mean, as far as like end of dungeon gains and like vault gains, 10 is going to be like, you know, right where you want to be. It gives you that myth 1 out of 6 and gives you that max 3 out of 6, which might not seem like a lot compared to 1 out of 6, but if it's saving you 30 rune crest upgrading week 1, it's actually pretty impactful. Now, obviously, everybody can't jump into 10s, but still, if you're looking to get, you know, a little bit of hero gear rolling in, 6s or higher are giving that. 6s also give max rune benefits, and 7 or higher are giving Gilded Crest. So if that crest cap is 180 this week and not even 90, like it was in S1 being full 180, it shouldn't be that hard to cap. Now, when it comes to, I actually found the updated version of this chart here. When it comes to Delves, they also are giving it Runed and Gilded Crest this tier. 11 or higher is giving Gilded Crest and Delves. You can see, if we were talking about, when it comes to running 6s, they're giving 18 Rune Crest upon completion compared to 2s giving 10. So there's like almost a double amount you're getting. It's actually pretty insane. 6 for like that hero track gear in max Runed, where you want to be. 12's giving 20 gilded, 11, 18, 10, 16, so on and so forth. So it shouldn't be that bad to cap these week 1 as well. Like we're talking about, Delves give gilded at 11 or higher. They're giving runed at 8 to 10. I believe you get some runed at 11 also, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not 100%. Now, when it comes to Delves this week, I want to hit on this here too. Your keys, the ones in game, are exceptionally likely to reset. This is before the patch comes out, I don't know. I would be astonished if they don't reset. Now, you can get 4 restored coffer keys per week. So 4 over here. So do your quests that give you the box that's locked behind 3 world quests, wherever it is. I don't know if there's even any on my map right now. I think there's one in Undermine. Oh, here, this thing. Do these. The first 4 weekly caches you earn each week contain a restored coffer key, and you want to use these on bountiful delves. Now, when it comes to loot, it's chart here, obviously, at 8 or higher. The end of dungeon loot becomes hero with Delver's bounties being used, which is also going to be the map that you get. The map has been increased significantly as far as drop rates concerned, but you only get 1 per week. There's going to be 4 bountiful delves on your map per day. I don't think it makes a big difference if you want. I don't think you can really pick and choose bountiful delves for it to matter as far as using like using your keys or whatever, but just make sure you use your 4 keys this week. If they don't reset, I'd be astonished. So they're pretty sure it's going to happen, just more of like a wait and see thing for season 2 to start up when the raid opens, but keep that in mind. TLDR, Crest are much easier to acquire. Optimize around your delves and things here, and you can find what keys you want to run, eye level wise, gearing wise, all that kind of stuff. But if you want to acquire a bit of a higher key initially, don't loot it from the guy, the vendor in Dorangal. Try and run a 6, 7, 8, jump into that, maybe a 3, 4, 5, whatever you want, and get a higher key from the end of dungeon loot box versus the vendor itself. And the last thing I want to hit on here, which sort of ties into the crafting section a bit we talked about, is going to be completing Chapter 5 of the campaign. If you're watching this before Tuesday and haven't done Chapters 1 through 4, I'd log in and do them. You don't have to ahead of time, but it's sort of a slog. The zone is really cool, but it's a lot of condensed areas and sort of annoying to get the quest line done 1 through 4. When the patch comes out on Tuesday, Chapter 5, once you complete it, which is going to start right here, I believe in the map, once you complete this, it's going to give you a quest to go in the raid and defeat Gallywix. When you do that, the reward is some Valor Stones, this and that, and an enchanted, runed, undermined crest. This is going to be a heroic gear crafting crest, which I believe is like 656, whatever it was a minute ago in that section. This is for free, so this will save you a bit of heroic crest. Now, you don't need to use this week 1. You can maybe use some of your mythic crest if you want. I think it's 60 to craft a higher piece, but the fact that it's free and crest are pretty limited when it comes to the first few weeks. If your guild's doing a lot of heroic or you're running M+, once again, hero gear drops at +6 key, right? Like you're going to have a lot of ways to use your crest. Optimizing them and getting a free heroic crest here is likely highly beneficial. You can take that piece and upgrade it later on with mythic crest if need be, but once again, like the spark section, I would encourage you to do this quest, but also don't use your spark early. Wait as long as you can. If your guild's doing mythic on the weekend, farm M+ for the week, whatever, log in last moment you can and use your spark right before you have to. If your Gallywix is overtuned, you need it to kill Gallywix, sure. If you're going into mythic on Sunday, use it Saturday night, right? You don't need to craft an item the moment you get this crest. You don't need to craft an item on Tuesday. If I craft boots before I go into M+, oh cool, I got heroic boots and all that stuff, and then go into M+ and loot a pair of boots, you wasted a spark. You wasted crest. It's not good. But TLDR, you do this, hop over here when the patch drops, grab this quest right here. No difficulty requirement, normal, heroic, whatever you want. Defeat Gallywix, and you get a free heroic crest. So like always, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully the video wasn't too long, and hopefully it helped y'all. Maybe a couple things you might have forgotten about or didn't know about heading into week 2 of the patch, basically week 1 of the patch when things are opening up, M+, raid, delves, all that kind of stuff. Like I mentioned, I am flying out to the race world first, casting for Liquid again this time. I'm probably on a plane when this video is coming out, if not already there, but regardless, if you guys have any questions, you can come by stream anytime. I should be streaming the same schedule for the most part during the race and all that, at least raid nights and all that, but yeah. Hopefully it was helpful. Like always, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for all support on Patreon, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Like always, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Let's me keep doing what I'm doing for y'all, making videos and stuff. I'm also taking TSG out to the race. So, he won't actually be in Florida when you see this video, but hey, there's that. So, all that being said, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like and sub button below. Helps out a ton. And I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.